Oh, that's enough of the intro video. It's your man, PooNanners.
Well, hold on now. You're going to miss the best part.
All right.
Yes!
It's your man, PooNanners, your Texas caster and hype master.
It's your homeboy Falibu. You know what it do.
Oh, we do know what it do and what it does. And Deuce does? Yeah, sure, whatever. What it does is that we are covering some highlights from the community right now. These guys are going to be, I think, really big once they get going. We have ShadowVeinz and Joeah, who go by slightly different names in the actual game. But they come out of Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. They were in our championship matches for the VR Summit through VR Athletics, Virtual Athletics League. And ShadowVeinz won the whole thing just by bows and arrows. Joey put on a hell of a show, kept us entertained. These guys are strong killers. In the direct message chat that we had for the event, Joey and me were talking about that we couldn't make something because there was a Population 1 playtest coming up. And Shadow's like, what's that? I was like, can't talk about it.
We're super secret over here.
Yeah. I was like, NDA. And then I was like, we can refer a friend, though. And so we referred him in, and he got in. He immediately, he was just sweating to death playing the game with Joey, and he hits me up in the direct message. He's like, best game ever. And I was like, dude, shoot me a video. I would love to cover it. We're going to have ourselves a great old time.
Well, PooNanners, it sounds like we got some heavy hitters on our hands.
Yeah, I think we do have ourselves some heavy hitters. Now, we'll go ahead and show our names here. This is, again, it's me, PooNanners. It's Falibu. You may know him from the Discord, posts lots of videos, prolific player himself. I believe you're a battle guide as well, right?
Exactly, yes, as well as yourself.
A couple of battle guides here that guide you through battle. All the battle guiding. And speaking of battles that we're going to guide you through, considering we just completed the great event today and we're all just dried up from our sweat, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these highlights. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah, we're coming off of 2 hours of Battle Royale action. Let's get it.
Oh, I'm all down.
Hold on now, PooNanners. Looks like we got a little bit of a mouse problem here on the screen.
Oh, I'll just fix that real quick. There we go. Population 1 logo.
Excellent.
Now, later on, we're going to find ourselves a spot while these guys are starting to loot, probably in round 2. I think will be a good place for it. We're going to hear from the best player in the game, in my opinion, Feathereth. Feathereth's going to give us 3 major tips to help you win the game. I've listened to him in advance, and they give away all the secrets that I wish he wouldn't tell people. But
take note, folks. This Feathereth cat, he is a strong contender.
Oh, man. You're going to get some really solid advice from him. So this is a basic. You want to go where the pod lands you. A lot of people like to jump off first. You can get cheese that way. It is it's okay to do it, and I don't recommend against using your pod to take it all the way to the end. You can get some easy kills and some good loot if you jump off early, right, Falibu?
Exactly, and I'd like to make a special note right here. You can see the player kind of assembling their loadout based on having 1 gun for every range, and maybe a little bit of a health item.
Yeah, see, that's a good balanced way to play. Now, there's a risk-reward to playing unbalanced. For example, me in early days, I would just run an auto shotty and 5 grenades.
Those grenades were dangerous. PooNanners with grenades, folks. You got to watch out.
Well, that was back in the day. I can't kill anything with a grenade anymore. Especially now that, got to load that gun. Here comes their first interaction. Still hasn't loaded.
You hate to see it happen, folks.
Oh, yeah, hate to see it. I was talking to Bagel about that. He said nothing gives him more anxiety than watching these videos and hearing the gun constantly click because the person hasn't loaded it yet.
Click. Exactly.
I told him there's a couple things that give me anxiety. One of them is seeing that no bullets loaded symbol and then not notice it for forever. And the other thing that makes me nervous is when they walk in a room and they don't check their sidelines. I was like, what's on your left? What's on your right? How do you not know?
Even as a player, I'm sure you can relate that there is few things more stressful as pulling on a trigger and then yourself hearing that click. Oh, wow, folks. See that shot? AWP putting down some damage.
It's a tasty op shot. Lighten them up, too. You got to love it when you see the orange letters. That's always a strong indicator they got no shields left. I'm still trying to figure out what red means. Sometimes I think it means a headshot, but then I think it means they have no health left. I haven't really quite figured that one out.
If I'm not mistaken, the blue numbers mean damage just took shields off.
Yeah.
The orange numbers mean it just took health off, and red numbers mean a headshot.
Okay. I was thinking it was headshot, but I was like, there's no way I headshot this guy from this far back with an AK.
You just don't even know how good you are, Mr. PooNanners.
It was just, you fire enough bullets, something's going to hit. So this is a classic maneuver. They got a guy above themselves. I believe they got him. They're ground walking so much, which makes a lot of us longtime players nervous. Is that right, Falibu?
Yeah, another thing I'd like to draw attention to right here is that you've got two teammates strafing on each side of their opponent. So he can't focus on one of them for too long.
Don't clump. That is right. Don't clump. You got to get that pincer maneuver. Something me, Rookefelt, and Econ do all the time. We try to make sure that we're not all going down the same way. We'll actually call it out. It's like, I'm going center, I'm going left, I'm going right. Or I'm going high and I'm going low.
Plans.
One of the good things you can do, too, is if you're going to breach a building that you know where they are, and I only just discovered that this is a solid move, is that if you try to rush in a building, there's a lot of people that will just be waiting in the building, not moving, so you can't hear them. They'll be holding a shotgun. So they're going to get a piece of you as soon as you walk in. And they can hear your footsteps, so they know where you're coming, right? And they can turn without making any noise. And what I've started doing is there's no friendly fire. So you can toss a grenade directly in that building and have your teammate rush in. They'll hear the grenade.
Right here, it looks like they have a drop pod. They're going to get some gold weapons out of this 4-star weapon.
Oh, dude. If that golden Sacco, if it was term, it would be game over.
It might be over, folks.
Oh, man. Every time I run into like a purple or a golden Sacco like early on in the game, it's like, if I was term... That guy's just brutal. He's left-handed, so he's got that fast reload. And you'll hear it like, it's the most scary thing you've ever heard in your sound is sniper fire that happens like a rapid-fire gun.
There's nothing more demoralizing than hearing that Sacco shoot as fast as that man can shoot it.
And then seeing like 8 knocks, the knock messages.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, crap. What I do is I'll pop 3 sodas and walk through the storm to try to get behind them. That's my only hope.
Sometimes that's the only way you can make it happen.
Well, generally, Rookefelt or somebody will get them way before I get there. I think I average
right
like
here,
one
you can
to...
see the players building a defensive structure to regroup themselves.
That is correct. Really solid move. Build if you want to win, and that is what they did. They won. Now, this is something I was telling people. I'll watch new players walk past materials all the time and not pick it up. And I was like, those materials are as good or better than your shields, and there's not a limit to how many you can pick up.
Another fun fact is that walls absorb 120 bullet damage, which means you can draw out somebody's ammo a lot further just with a few walls.
Yep. I've had to put tons of clips into walls in order to try to get to a player. That's one reason why you want to at least carry one grenade, because it will at least blow away a lot of those walls.
That is a great point. Also, the grenade explosion explodes up as well as to the sides.
Yeah, so if you can aim it way up in the air and time it so that it's in the air when it explodes, you can actually get a nice airstrike, assuming the players aren't moving too much.
Just raining down destruction on the enemies.
Speaking of people who rain down destruction, let's hear Feathereth's tips while we got a chance.
Quick fire tips with Feather. First thing, you should always be on high ground because you're never going to win a fight against somebody that's decent while they can just peek in and out of cover while you're stuck wasting all your resources, so the second you get grenaded, you're dead.
Oh, my secret strategy.
Just way better to be on high ground, so always look for a building. Number 2 is get good with all the guns. Obviously, your favorites will be your best weapons, but you're not always going to be able to find them, so I suck at the revolver, but I've made it a point to practice so I can get better, just in case I don't find a DT-11 or an AK. So, it's just a lot easier to know all the guns you're going up with. And last, just have fun. Having fun really helps. I'll record some videos. You will see how much better you do when you're having fun and not blaming the game. I mean, yes, if you die to a bug, it's annoying, but it's better if you have fun while doing it. Anyway, quick.
Oh, I cut him off a little bit earlier. Sorry about that, but that was his 3 tips. Feathereth, when I was listening to that and I was talking to him about it, I was like, what you described there at the end is what we in the esports community call tilt. And tilt has cost more championships than anything. And so definitely you need to keep having fun and don't let yourself get upset. Don't get upset at the game. Don't get upset at your computer, your controllers. Don't get upset at other players, and don't get upset at your team. Because while you're upset, you're not thinking and you're not playing.
That was great advice from one of the game's most dangerous contenders.
I tell you, man, when I see Feathereth on that is going to be in a match with me, it's one of the few people that if I see his name on there, I'm like literally frightened. Most of the other players, I know I have a strategy. Like I know what they're going to do. MCP, I know he's going to land in Cemetery, and I know how to get him. Stumpy, I know that he tunnel visions. You just got to get behind him. Like I have strategies for dealing with him. Feathereth, my only strategy is don't let him get armed. If he has a gun, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty deadly no matter what. As a player, he moves so fast that it is hard to keep track of him.
Well, he's fast, and he also has excellent strategy. You find that in a lot of this game that you'll have people that are really good at getting kills or people who are really good at winning. You rarely find both of them in the same player, and that's what he has. You don't really see it on the leaderboards. It doesn't really paint a complete picture of the kind of danger that Feathereth and his friends are, but 100% you see Feathereth on the map. Just resign yourself to second place at a maximum.
Now, right here, you love to see how players can get shot out of the air. When the player's in the air like that, they're moving slow, and they are a sitting duck as a target.
Ducks indeed. It's duck hunting season. Or skeet shooting.
Duck hunting season.
Just like, pull! Oh, we love when people are flying through the air, especially when we can see them. That's why a lot of your top players now, they'll fly. You don't want to be walking along the ground because it is dangerous, but fly low, especially if you know people are going to shoot at you. Use that air cover.
Flying is generally used for covering a lot of ground really fast, but it doesn't come without its own share of risks.
That build protection, man. This guy gets it. This is what I always have to do, especially if I'm stuck on these cliffs towards the very end of a match. Oh, put him down. ShadowVeinz just bringing the pain. ShadowVeinz was very new.
Great game IQ. He followed the target behind the walls and only broke the one that he needed to finish off the target.
Oh, this guy is pro. Like I said, he won that match just doing bows and arrows. I was like, dude, this game actually, if it had a bow and arrow in it, I'd be even more scared of ShadowVeinz.
Did you notice right here how he pinged the enemy before he went into scope phase to take his shot? That's great teamwork.
Oh, yeah. This guy's a real competitor. I do love seeing a lot of the names that I'm used to seeing from other esports competitions show up and seeing how they adapt to a new game. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, that peek outside of the wall.
It's all about finding those sight lines without giving up your shot. Joey here is trying to build him enough walls to play sight lines, man. Ooh, come on, that should have connected. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it happen, folks.
Oh, yes, man. But from a distance, he's got incredible aim. Joey here is kind of an all-around player. He's a good midfielder. He's great at a distance as well, but he's also really difficult to tilt Joey, which is what makes him a solid member on your team. Same thing with Shadow.
Oh. And we just saw Joey take out that target from the low ground.
Yeah, but look at what they're doing here, too. You actually see that the people who have the high ground, they're about to lose it. The zone is going to collapse on it, and these guys make the executive decision, don't give up our ground. They have to come to us.
Exactly.
How many times have we made this mistake where they're up on a tower like that? We're like, oh, we'll just go over there and kill them, and then we lose the match?
The location of that final battle zone is so important.
Well, trying to take the high ground like that high from the ground, too, is just asking to get killed.
Exactly.
As Feathereth was giving away the secret strategy, the meta that all the top players have figured out now, don't try to take high ground. We learned it from Anakin.
The enemies are on the ground trying to move into the zone, while our home team here is pretty well secured from the high ground, shooting at them as they come in.
I think we can predict how this one's going to go. Oh, grenade coming in.
Grenade. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, but the grenades are just not as dangerous as they used to be, depending on where they land. As long as you take note. Plus, you can just throw up a single wall and block it.
The team here did pretty well about spreading out when they saw that grenade.
Someone knows a flank's coming? Does he feel it? Garsh gets another one. There it is. He heard the flank. Here paid off. You got to look out for those flanks, especially when you see like Rukafelt and Econ getting kills. 9% of the time. I think it's 9%. Haven't flanked as much as I used to. And another win. But yeah, about 90% of the time, maybe. I'm probably going for a flank.
Right there at the end, our home team was outnumbering the enemies, so we saw Joe just fly right in for the sweeping kill there.
Oh, we always do that. You try to fight for that last one. See, this is something you don't see them do through all these matches because, well, Shadow, you don't see him do because he is fairly new. And that is, some of us players will constantly check the map in order to see how many enemies are left because that informs what you should do. Like, are you going to go through plains, often referred to as the fields of death? No, not if I see 10 or more people. But if there's 8, it's probably safe, right? If we're doing a fight where we're fighting over high ground and fighting something out, if it's 3 against 6, I'm not giving up the high ground. If it's 3 against 2 or 1, let's rush and get those final kills. It's all about taking that risk.
Another thing to consider there is right there at the end, you kind of got to swoop in for the end before enemy team can pull off a revive.
Oh, you don't want that for sure. Although sometimes especially if it's at the very end of a playtest, so you know it's your very last one, you're just like, let him revive. Let him, and they'll like make jokes about it. Just let him do it. Oh, man. We always have fun, man. We had one guy that we were letting him stay alive, and we were flailing our arms while holding sodas because we wanted to give him a soda so he could drink with us since it was the very last match of a 3 playtest day, and he was the very last player left alive. And he wasn't having it. He just started shooting at us wildly. We were building, flailing our arms, trying to get his attention. And he's like, no, I'll kill all 3 of you. You took my teammates away.
The warrior spirit with this one.
Oh, man. Few things more warrior spirit than 300% speed. But that gets us through these matches quick. These are hour-long playtests, and I was able to get this down to like under 30 minutes by cranking out these scavenger parts of the game, about 300 speed. It does make it hard to look at. I'm not going to lie. It was almost a good idea.
What we've got going on here is we got a lot of loot. We got our team looking for enemies on the map while trying to maintain good high position here on these buildings.
Oh, yeah. Gotta shy away from the ground walking. You hear Rukafel say that all the time. He calls people on the ground dead walking or the walking dead, because if you're on the ground while you're around players who know not to be on the ground, you are kind of good as dead. Granted, you can build a roof, and I've had to do it where I had to walk on the ground to take high ground from a sniper. I just built a roof and ran up on them.
Now, right here on this game, our team started out in Refinery. They crossed over Defiant, and they know since they haven't seen anybody, they've likely got some enemies coming out of Cemetery. Am I right?
Yes. It's a very smart move. This right here is map knowledge. You see people figure this out when they don't hear any gunfire, but they see people are going down, and they're on one end of the map. Your best answer is to figure out where could they most likely be. Cemetery is a very popular place to be. So are the fields. So if you're in Defiance and you don't hear or see anybody, those are your 2 good guesses. If there are 15 people left alive and you're over there, then definitely start running up on Cemetery if it's still in zone. The fields you want to save.
We can see the importance of Featherith's advice about having that high ground in play right now. This is insane.
He's basically just getting free kills. Wish he had more ammo, though. Ammo, you can
when he
hold.
fires from the high ground, he's more likely to get a headshot.
And those guys are trying to build their way out of it. That's what I always say whenever we get outgunned like this. Like, build your way out of it. But you need to have that ammo, too. And I don't think he was prioritizing ammo pickups on the way to doing this.
Oof.
And remember, you can drop ammo for your teammates, so it's important communication-wise to call. Oh, last-minute switch as it gets rushed on with the shotgun. That guy actually had every opportunity to kill ShadowVeinz here. They're just lucky that he was a little bit discombobulated from losing his whole team. There's another guy coming in through the pain field. Oh, Shadow gets knocked. It's down to Joe.
And I'm back.
It's a good thing they got that res off. No, they didn't get the res off. Garsh and Shadow are down, and Joe with like 30% health. These are the moments that I play this game for. It's not about the kills or the wins. It's about these just barely saving yourself. I will tell you something about those revive paddles. You want to go kind of like a slow circular motion with them. You don't want to just kind of rub them. You get it real quick if you find the right tempo. Have you noticed that, Falibu?
The motion that I like to use myself is I like to pretend that there's a speed bag in front of me, and I'm kind of just circling my hands at a speed bag.
Oh yeah.
Level.
Yeah, it's definitely a wide circle. It's definitely a wide circle and not just a straight up and down rub.
Also, I'd like to point out that if you're moving it too fast and you don't see the charging meter go up, maybe try slowing it down just a little bit to catch up with the tracking.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why slow and steady wins the race on that one for sure.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yeah. So right now they're attacking from the low ground, but he went ahead and spotted them, so he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just take some pot shots at him. You guys get high. Nope. They're all gonna clump right up on top of each other. They're in decent cover, so it's not a terrible idea. And at this point, there's not many people left in the match, so you can be a little bit more risky. You have
However,
one player.
They're encountering this team that looks like they just came off of that drop pod to the left, so they're probably armed to the teeth.
Yeah, that's also something you got to worry about. Another team got to that drop first. That's when you got to be prepared for trouble. Now, we noticed that I think it was Joey or Garsh were building themselves a little bit of a sniper nest, so that's going to give him something. Joe's going to toss in a grenade just to sort of bait people out, see if he can get them to move. MCP and I really liked that early days as a tactic for the grenade. You weren't really using it to kill somebody, but people run from them. So you can throw it in the opposite direction you want a person to run.
All right, looks like our team takes another victory.
Yes, they do, and they're ready to launch into another one. Now, keep in mind, I think this was like Shadow's first or second playtest. He's brand new to the game, and he's picking it up pretty quick.
Exactly.
It's a testament to the developers. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to make a game that was super easy to get into. And I think they did it. What do you think, Falibu?
Yeah.
Oh. I just noticed that I lost your video there for a minute, but Falibu is back.
It's back.
Well, Falibu, walk us through this play here.
So, it looks like we're going to be going all the way to the cliff side. There's only a few high points here.
Yeah, that is one dangerous thing about it. There's a few high point places that you can hide in or that you can use as an advantage, but it is early game. You can get some drops. In my opinion, Cliffside does not have great drops, so you're going to be like disappointed the whole time you're there.
It does seem to have a little bit limited loot. It's only got a few buildings, but it is on the high ground, so that may be worth it in some situation.
Yeah, I've seen the map collapse to Cliffside, and when it does, the team that just camped there had an enormous advantage.
Yeah, Cliffside is notably higher than any other part of the map outside of structure.
Yeah, man. Now, he's trying to track a player. He thought he saw someone here. Yeah, and he's trying to get a piece of him. And as you see, he's flying down. This is a guy that I think is out of position because he's by himself. Might be a guy trying to cheese a team. You do see a lot of that in the game where people will try to just, oh, this is brutal.
Oh, he snuck up on him, got nothing but headshots. You hate to see it happen, folks.
Oh, you love to see it. Now, see, this is one thing that's missing from the game. A little Goomba stomping right there would have been a great way to finish that guy off.
Exactly.
You know what we haven't seen a lot of in this game? Bananas, considering how frequent you find bananas.
Right? Where are all the bananas at? Somebody's hoarding them. Looks like Joe. Oh, looks like Joe just found one. His life spiked up right there.
That'll do it.
He recovered 50 health points instantly while eating a banana.
That is correct. You got to peel all four sides and shove it in your face. Garsh taking down one of the teammates. On the other side of this building, looks like Shadow's on the hunt. He knows he's inside. He can hear his footsteps. He can see the gunshots. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go say hello. Oh,
and
it looks like he knocked Garsh
down.
The guy in this tower knocked his teammate down. So he's going to sneak up slowly so he doesn't give away his audio cues of where he is exactly. But he flies out of the building last second because he knows they're coming. He's like, Hail Mary, I'm going in. You got to love a good dangerous play here. Trying to fight it out with the shotgun. But oh!
And he gets stuck in the house. It becomes his final resting place.
Yes, that is right. It looked like he was going to get Shadow there for a minute. That guy really looked like he knew what he was doing. Looked like he was ready for a close-range battle. He wasn't about to get ganked there in that tower. It just didn't work out for him. But yeah, for a minute there, I was nervous for Shadow. I was like, oh, I don't know, toss a grenade in there. I'm not going in there. It seems like it's only the top players who've played a lot with me know that I am scared.
We can see just happened right here was some more excellent teamwork. Our player dropped some ammo for one of his teammates who was lacking assault rifle ammo.
That is right. Communication is key. Find out what ammo your teammates don't have and toss it to them. As you hear a lot of players say, you'll hear Feathereth say this as well. You see it in several tip documents. Grab all the ammo. There's no penalty for grabbing as much ammo as you can, so there's no reason to leave it on the ground, especially grab materials. But grab all the ammo and just know what your teammates like or ask what they have or what they need and drop it for them. Share. And it's like,
well, PooNanners, we've been around for a little while, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody complaining that they have too many resources.
No, you definitely can't get enough materials. And they actually decreased the amount of materials from the original game that we played back in 2018 for, I think, performance reasons. So you can't just build like a crazy person anymore. But they're so freaking powerful and useful that if you end up playing through the match a decent ways and haven't found any materials, I'm not saying you're as good as dead, but you're basically playing left-handed. Unless you are left-handed, then you're playing right-handed, of course. Yeah, you got to find those materials. And you definitely want to keep an eye on your shield and your teammate's shield and make sure you ping stuff. They added this ping system. We asked them for this ping system for months before they got it finalized and put it in, and it is so incredibly useful for coordination.
Absolutely. Every single game, that's one of the tools that each player has in their arsenal. Make use of it.
Yes, you definitely need communication is key in any team-based game. You know, Rukafelt
so
actually...
The guy got stuck behind the zone line there.
Yeah,
they took out Garsh. There it is. That's the squad wipe.
Yep, you got to love that ring and bell. That ring and bell lets you know that you're a little bit safe. However, the match just said 2 squads left, and they're coming down to the final zone. And what I see more often than not is that if you fought the second to last squad, that last squad has been watching you and waiting. So
Now,
if you're
something
not
else that
prepared,
happened just right now was our player was about to revive his teammate, but he noticed an enemy coming in. Sometimes it's worth it to drop that revive and just take the shots yourself.
oh yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel, man. There's a lot of people that, like, you know, when the pain field is coming in hot and fast, they'll ask you to res them while they're like deep in the pain field, and you're like, this is not a good idea. Unless you're holding on to about 4 or 5 sodas.
Exactly.
Pop yourself a soda. You want to pop yourself a soda when your health is kind of half or low, though, because once it fills up, the soda stops working. It's on a timer, but it's also like shuts off if your health is full. So you don't want to.
Now this should be interesting. Our team is going to take the start of the match right in the center of Cemetery, which we both know is known for its loot.
Yes, it's a popular place. You almost always can find a gold weapon right there in the church. The place is littered with CX4s, which is like a decent mid-tier weapon now. So it's not bad. You want to have yourself a decent long-range weapon, and CX4 works pretty good long range and it's somewhat mid as well, and it's got great accuracy in my opinion.
There we go.
Should have found himself the good thing. I think he found himself a purple MP5, which is not just short of a god gun right now. So,
well, the MP5 is really interesting because it's almost at the top of SMGs for how much damage it does, and right at the bottom of ARs for how much damage.
Yeah, and I mean, also it doesn't really work great at a distance, so you want to get in close with the MP5. You don't have to get in super close. Like it'll do like kind of a mid short range with it. I found that if you're going to get the drop on somebody, like you're right close to them, you're basically holding the button down, waiting for them to die. So that and super close range, obviously, shotguns are what you're looking for. But if you're going like close to medium tier range, like you're fighting between buildings, not actually in them, the MP5 and the UMP will bring all the damage you need. And even the P90, they've adjusted its recoil on the P90, so a lot of people shied away from it, but it's still a very dangerous weapon.
The amount of bullets that that gun has and the speed at which you can fire them is incredible still.
It's a laser, man. It's a freaking laser. How many times have you been lasered in the head with the P90 by like people that you didn't think were going to kill you?
More times than I care to remember, Mr.
Yeah. Once they nerfed it, people stopped playing with it. It kind of stopped happening. Even though they could still do it, they just have to sort of wrestle with it. That's all you got to do. You just got to know it's going to recoil a bit. The guns don't really have a lot of bullet spread, so you're fine.
Yeah, see now he engaged that fight with the AR, but when he got closer, he swapped to the SMG for the speed of the bullets.
Yeah, that's super good gun knowledge. Oh, we got ourselves trying to shotgun. Now that was a perfect shotgun attack from the air, up close ambush, right? That should have allowed him to kill 1 or 2 people. He just wasn't able to seal the deal.
I believe it was the reload right there, and that goes back to Featherith's tip of getting good with each of the weapons.
Well, another thing, too, if you want to play Ambusher with shotguns, I suggest you have multiple shotguns so you don't have to worry about reload. Speaking of reload and the SMGs, I had a match earlier today where I had an UMP and 2 MP5s because that's just what I kept finding. I was like, you know what? I got an idea. I loaded all of them, rushed a barn with 3 guys in it, and just held the trigger down and just rapidly switched to the next gun without letting go of the trigger. For each of them, and I wiped out a whole team, just 100-some-odd bullets downfield.
The destruction is incredible!
It felt wrong, but granted, if anybody was up close with a shotgun, or if they were just got distance between me and them, or built any kind of structure to protect themselves, the plan would have completely failed.
All right, 3 squads remaining.
Yep, these guys are working at methodical, staying mostly in cover. They're right outside in Death Road. You don't want to be like hanging out right in the middle of the road, but climbing and flying, not doing a bad job staying inside of cover. I played a lot of PlanetSide 2, so my like cover mentality is really like sharp.
Now, what's interesting about this area, this is the refinery. It's got a lot of big warehouses with up to 3 stories in some of those buildings, which is a lot of places to get lost.
A lot of places that other people can hide and gank you too. Remember, you can only hear them when they're moving. Now, actually, since this joystick-based movement, you can move slow enough that you can't be heard. It's finicky, it's difficult, and it's really fun if you have a revolver that you can just sneak up on a guy who's camping and just put it in his ear. That's just something about that just cracks me up every time. The thing is, that's the only reason that for that particular moment that I would want to have all talk. So you can just say, "Hey," and he turns around. Ah!
Now, something else I find interesting about this gameplay is that we see our shooter here from the first-person perspective go to aim down sight a lot of the time instead of just firing from the hip. So it's not completely useless to use 2 hands on all the guns.
Oh, dude, I use the sights all day long. It's really funny. There was a period of time there that I forgot that I could use aim down sights when we had the firing range. but then I would forget that the sights existed in the middle of a firefight, and I would just kind of like hip fire it or fling it out, hold my arm way out to the side. Now, the hip fire reticle is very useful, but if you want to get like a lot of shots downrange, especially with an accurate weapon or you're within its accuracy range, definitely ADS. He's going to have to clutch it. Watch this clutch move. Watch this clutch move. There's no one left alive. Joe against everybody. Joe is building for his life in order to save the day. Is this 3v1? I'm not entirely sure he's trying to deal with. He has almost no health. The painfield's coming up, drops in a grenade. Grenade does no damage. More health is gone. This guy is up against the ropes, building for his life. He's down to like 10 health, and he gets the win.
Oh, victory. Joe built an incredible neighborhood right there. Where can I sign him up?
Right.
He needs to build my house.
You'll like to see it. Let me fix your video here. Anyway, yeah, you love to see that, man. That's excellent work. You can see the stats right here. You have Shadow and Joey doing a lot of carrying on the team, getting a lot of damage, getting those revives in, as well across the entire team. Great teamwork there, sealing the deal with those wins. And, you know, man, that's what I love to see, and that's what we've all talked about in this game from the beginning, is that the real money makers, the entertainment, the excitement is going to be seeing those build battle clutch wins. There was one time that me and Rukafelt couldn't be on the same team, and we ended up in a pub match against each other. And there was at that time, me and him were fairly similar in skill level. He's eclipsed me by far now. And so he knew that I was in the match. I knew he was in the match, and he knew if I kill PooNanners, I'll be okay. Right? And so I went to fight him. All my guys were alive. His guys were dead. Well, they just rezzed them, and I just murdered them. Forget you guys. And I went up against him, and suddenly he became a beast. He was like ultimate instinct. He was just building and attacking and going around shotgunning, whatever. And then I was toast. And my other two teammates had no idea how to deal with it and just got wiped. And I asked him, I was like, what was that? He's like, dude, I don't know.
Well, and that's one of the interesting things about Battle Royale is that the tensions can get so high that instinct takes over in a moment of panic. It's incredible.
Somebody who can build like that too, like me, I can panic build barriers to protect me and run away. The guys who can build and climb, build, climb, shoot, build, climb, shoot, those guys, that's going to be where the game goes. That's going to be the stuff that you're going to be excited to see in all of the spectator matches or big esports matches. That's going to be the exciting thing, and that's the stuff that I think that the younger players who have more active minds, they're going to figure out how to do that better than anybody else. And you're going to watch them playing a game at a different level that all of us beta testers are going to be like, well, it was fun while it lasted.
It's all over now, folks. Everybody go home.
Oh, indeed. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboards while we're here. We do have them. We have Stumpy Nub sitting on the top of the kills. No surprise there. He does like to rush. He will hunt you like a Terminator. If he sees you, if you're getting like an entire map between you, he won't let it go.
He might be a cyborg sent back from the future. Take out all of mankind.
Stumpy's been an Armored professional player for a while. Actually earned his way into the finals over in the UK for the third season of the VRL in Space Junkies. Him and Pesky Cashew were on a team against Rukafelt, and Rukafelt beat them. So that's who you guys are fighting against in this game. Alec on tilt. I actually don't know Alec from other games. I'm not entirely sure what game he's from, but he's also incredibly deadly. And when I see that he's on another team, not a fan. Like I see he's there, I'm like, I don't want that. And then we had a match today, I think it was, or maybe it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday, where he was playing against us. We all went to church. No one was there. And then all of a sudden he was there and his other teammates were there. And me and him were going for the same gun. In his hand, I get the MP5 before he does, but then he spiders around the top of the freaking building, and I lose track of him, and he comes up behind me, the P90, almost wipes me out. I zip in the building, try to get away, murders me. My other two teammates are on the ground, Econ and Rukafelt, keeping fire on him, putting pressure on his teammates. I pull back. Rukafelt reses me. I have, like, no health, no guns, no nothing, and I just book. Like, I'm just like, I'm gone, guys. Have fun.
Exactly.
And while that's going on, like, I end up getting further away. They both get killed. We actually circle around. I'm able to get to a nice position over in the killing fields. I'm able to res them. We're able to get materials and stuff, and we end up winning the match. We see Alec actually ends up just getting killed in like a third party. Like, it just happens before we can even get there. And Rukafel's like, I wanted vengeance. And then Zlink, who is it that Zlink plays with all the time?
I believe it's Yellow. Is it Yellow?
Yeah, Yellow and Rogue, I think, play with Zlink. I think those are the ones that play together. But yeah, we see Zlink. Anytime I hear him, everybody calls it out. Zlink is actually an incredibly good player as well. And then Econ I play with all the time. Now, you have to keep in mind, Econ has to play with Rukafelt all the time. So that's how many kills he gets while Rukafelt is taking them away.
Now, for those of y'all in the audience who don't know what that means, is if Rukafelt is on your team, even if you're putting out lots of damage, it's going to be hard to steal a kill from him.
You're not going to get the kills. Like, it's very hard. Like, I average about 0 to 1 kills a match because I've been playing with Rookafelt for this long.
That's a high game.
It's a high game for sure. All right, let's take a look at these other stats. We got Econ sitting at the top for wins. There was one set of matches that I had to sit out for. There's several matches that Rookafelt has had to sit out. So Econ's been playing with our team kind of consistently, and he's been able to get those. Obviously,
well, let's who's that there in second place though?
That's a guy with excellent hair. I hear he's got lots of hair products. That's all I know. So Izzy or Bart? I was informed by Feathereth that he actually comes from Hyperdasher, and he plays with God, what is the name?
For those of y'all who don't know, that's another first-person shooter on the Quest.
Right?
Fathead.
Yeah,
yes.
He plays with Fathead, who's supposed to be like, these guys are like top tier.
No disrespect to either Fathead or Farhead. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but he told me that these guys are like at the very top tier of Hyperdasher. So these guys are incredible players. So no surprise. Izzy or Bart, I see him more than often than not sniping, and sniping from a clever position where you can't see him. First time I encountered him in game, he was up in a tree and he was shooting us so that we could not see him. We couldn't get to him. But me, I was like, oh, I've seen this before. And I grabbed, I think I had a CX4, and I just pointed it at where the bullets were coming from and just held the button down. And he ended up having to leave the tree. And once he left the tree where he could be seen, he was just easy pickings for Rookafelt. I think we were playing with Term then. And Term, if he's got a Sako, like, it's just game over. Don't even bother.
Just hide.
Rookafelt here and Stumpy Nub. No shocks there. Those guys have been competing against each other for as long as I can remember. It's always fun to see, though.
All of them dangerous as soon as their boots hit the floor, sometimes even before then.
Yeah. I think we were playing in a match today where people kept leaving the lobby. And I was like, is that because they saw Rookafelt, or is it because the server's bugged? It ended up the server was bugged. Like, we jumped into a match and like everything like blacked out. But for a minute there, I was like, are they mad at you, Rookafelt?
Well, that's probably not the way the Rookafelt is going to tell the story. Everybody left because they saw him.
You know what's funny is, as much as we joke about Rookafelt, he actually doesn't really brag all that much. He's a very like nice guy. First time you meet him,
he's so humble, so humble.
Yeah, first time you meet him, he says, "I'm from Ohio." You look at his face, hear how he talks, you're like, yeah, you are. I love Rookafelt. Good people, man. Pesky too, man. Absolutely excellent players. Those guys, I've worked with them for a long time. They're incredible competitors across multiple games. So if dying to them does not mean you're not good. Dying to them means you survived up until the point that they killed you. It means you did really good.
Which is an honor.
Exactly. If I killed you, most of the time is an accident, or like I had to, or you were going to kill me, but I rarely get an opportunity to kill anybody. Or
I think in all good faith, a lot of the contenders that we've seen on the top of the kills and on the top of the wins are great sportsmen as well. The sportsmanship level at the top of the leaderboards is excellent. I'll be the guy that comes out and says it.
Yes. I know all these people, and 100% I would agree with that. None of these people are people that I know are just like farmers or what's some like boosters, just like that. Yet. Yeah, the game hasn't launched yet. The game hasn't launched yet. Those people always come out. You see it in games all the time, that people chasing the leaderboards, that it can get kind of toxic. So I always tell people when they kind of complain about the leaderboards, it's like, dude, it doesn't really mean anything. Don't worry about it. It's just a fun thing to talk about. But that's it.
Remember Feathereth's tip. It's all about having fun.
Exactly. Well, I am PooNanners, and this has been Falibu.
Falibu!
That's right. We're looking forward to a special announcement coming in from the Big Box Bros. I think Trent's going to be the one to post it maybe on Twitter. We'll see what it's going to be. We're all thinking maybe NDA drop. Maybe they're going to announce how much the game's going to be when the game's coming out. They said fall of 2020, and it's fall. What do you think's going to happen, Falibu?
Personally, all I know is that it's going to be big news either way, and I'm going to be excited, and I just cannot wait. How about yourself, PooNanners?
I think they're going to make all the announcements. I think they're going to go ahead and open up the NDA. Some people were streaming the game during this last match, so we've invited so many people that it's impossible to keep a lid on right now.
Also, we have a lot of prizes up for grabs today. There was an event hosted by Big Box for everybody who played at least 1 hour in the 2-hour session today. If you played at least 1 hour, there was 103 prizes up for grabs.
Yeah, there were a lot of prizes.
100 video games, a headset, and a Quest 2.
That's right, and they're going to announce the winners soon. They said soon.
Soonish.
Soon dot trademark. But yeah, so we'll find out what those are going to be. Again, we made this video for you guys in the chat. For those of us that are in the NDA, don't share this outside the Discord or outside the subreddit. This is just for you guys. If you have videos or highlights and you want us to give it the esports treatment, hit me up, man. We'll set you up and get you going. Feathereth already sent me some video for the next one, so we're going to have fun knocking that one out. When should I do this kind of regularly for you guys, just to hype you guys up for when eventually we start doing big events around this, assuming the coronavirus ever goes away.
Assuming so.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, everybody. Now get back in and eat your bananas.